Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Divine Empress, and the reminder that I have for us right now, or the message for right now, is you never know what you might do until you are put in certain situation where everything you know is tested, or something about an aspect of you that you know is tested. There's that saying, never say never, right? Um, I'm going to start off with Wizards of Waverly Place. I know I've talked about this show probably if you watch my other videos. There's something about that show that resonates with me a little bit. Like Alex and her family, they are wizards, and they live in a world where they don't completely fit in. They don't completely fit in with the regular, quote unquote, regular, for lack of a better word, people. They don't completely fit in with the wizards as well. They're a mixture of both worlds. And because of that, they are in um, their unique category as people. And a lot of the show had to do with them having to learn because of the experiences that they have, how different they are. It's like a lot of times when they try to do things like everybody else, things always turn out differently from them. Like their attempts at love. They had loved people whom over and over that ended up not being a match for them because of who they are. Like that time when Alex wanted to give up her power, give up the competition, and she was told she had to choose between love and being a wizard. Because if she was to be a normal person, she couldn't be with that person that she want to be with. And Justin also with his experiences with his lover as well, because of who he was, because of who they are, they cannot completely be with one part of the world or the other. And a lot of the experiences always kept taking them back. Imagine being a young person. Maybe some of you can relate. You have always felt different. Maybe you didn't know from a young age that you were a chosen child, you were a star seed, or whatever you identify with. And as you grew up, your experiences that you've had, you know that things have been different with you. When everybody else, it works a certain way for them. When it comes to you, it's always been different. And you never understood why. Maybe you're at a point now where you understand that. And now you learn how to find yourself and how to ground yourself with this new knowledge, and learn how to live life in a way that is authentic to you, reflects you, rather than trying to fit in, because you cannot, even if you tried, because you are different. You are meant for a different path, and you just wouldn't resonate. Um, and the same way for them in the show, um, it's basically that journey of learning that to embrace who they are, regardless of whether they fit in or not, to know that they're different, that they're not going to fit completely with either side, and they're unique that way. And learning also to rely on each other, because they're the ones that can understand what they're going through, because they're the only ones who are part of it. And because of who they are as well, they had to do a lot of acts of service. There were situations that they were the only ones basically who could or was willing to step in. They had to basically save the world on the show a lot of times. They didn't always want to do it, but they knew that they were who they were and had those gifts for a reason, for a greater purpose, and they wanted to use it to contribute to the world that they lived in. And that's how some of us might be feeling at this moment, where it's like we know that what we carry is for a greater purpose. And maybe some of the things that we know that we are meant to do is not things that we want to do. Like in the world right now, can you think about the people that you would consider heroes in this life that could fit that title? People that their professions maybe is dedicated to helping people. If of course, with anything, there's always two aspects. There are people who are genuinely there to help, and there are people who are not. The intentions are not. They have other things motivating them for being in those positions. But regardless of what their motivation is, they are still contributing, you know? Regardless of the police, law enforcers are being paid to do it, and their motivation for that isn't really to help, but they're helping somehow. Someone got saved because of a firefighter. Someone got saved because the police officers. Like, I like to thank the people who work to maintain the buildings, like at school, because I'm like, regardless of what their motivation is, they are still providing a service that we're benefiting from. Just because they get paid from it doesn't mean that we're not receiving from their service. It's still service. Just like you might be called to be of service, and you're going to receive maybe monetary compensation and other forms of compensation for what you're doing. It doesn't take away from the fact that it is still a service, even if you get monetary compensation from it. And you are still needed to show up in that position. Just like these people that you might admire or might consider in that category of people who do things that benefit this planet. You can contribute, and you are called to contribute. It would be of great service to you and to those who you provide, because when you give, you also receive. You receive compensation in different forms, spiritual, physical, monetary, in any form, but you also receive wisdom and knowledge, from what you experience, and other things that I might not have mentioned here that you might know or might be made aware of. And the other thing also about Wizards of Every Place that I wanted to touch on, it was the episode where it was wizards versus um, angels, like the angels of darkness, where because of Justin's, Justin fell in love with this girl who was part of the Dark Angels team, and because of who she was at that moment, she was a real angel in the show, but because she's been tapped in with a darker power, she's being influenced, and by them, she was operating in that darkness. She was also able to influence him to do bad things. he Justin is the type of person usually that is strict about being righteous, is strict about following the rules and doing what he's supposed to. But now he was going against that because he was having this darkness that was influencing him, because he had someone by his side that was not reflecting who he truly was. So that was not, he was being encouraged now to do negative things. And he couldn't see that. And now he was being influenced by that so much that he was embracing it as his new identity, that he even broke his wand, that now he was going to be this angel of darkness. And he wanted to, his motivation, his goal for life now was to please that master of darkness, who was the one who was ruling those angels of darkness. Now he wanted to impress that one, that master, and let him know how bad he can be, how dark he was, by going against everything that he knew, by going against what he cared about. And sometimes this happens. We have the wrong people around us. That those people, they could be people that at their core, at the essence, like that angel, that they're good. But in certain moments, in that moment that we encounter them, they might not be walking in that light. And in situations like that, we're not always used to save people. Sometimes it's better for us to distance ourselves from those people and pray for them and help them from a distance by praying or any other ways that we feel led, than to allow them to infiltrate our spaces, our being, and start to contaminate us with their darkness. Because we never know, like Justin learned in that episode at the end, he didn't realize how quickly he could turn evil. He could be give up his values and everything that he knew that was right. It took him falling in love quickly as well, to completely want to throw everything he knew away, to do the things that he knew were not right. It taught him a lesson about ego as well, because sometimes we like to think that we could never, it could never be us. There's this man that watch here on YouTube, and I don't remember his name. I remember his face now, but I don't remember his name. He was like, act like, basically acting is not really acting. It's about becoming. You're playing a role. Every single one of us have it within us to be those things that we think we would never be. You can think yourself as righteous as you want to think. But if you put in a situation, you can say somebody, somebody, for example, that could never wrong somebody, you can never analyze a person. Of course, it's an extreme example, but this is what I'm thinking about right now. And then you put in a situation where maybe you have to defend, or if not defend, or something gets triggered in you, where you find yourself now that you have done the thing that you said you could never do. Or you think that you are unbeatable, like no, nothing can influence you negatively. And in that thinking, something comes in a way that you never expected. It could be that person or that thing, that opportunity that seems like a really nice thing at first, just like that angel seemed like a really nice thing when Justine first met her. You know, she seemed very innocent actually. Very innocent, like somebody who was so fragile and innocent. That the mistakes that she was making seemed innocent, and that what drew her to him because of that innocence that she seemed to display. And he didn't know that that was a mask. There was something deeper and darker there until she got him to a place where she knew now he would not be returning. He didn't see it coming, he didn't feel it until things had already turned bad. And this can happen with any one of us. And that's why it's important to stay humble. And that's why it's important to pray about the things that come to us, about the people and the things that are around us, because we don't know what else is a part of that thing. Even the things within us sometimes. Remember always to tap in and check with anything and everything about yourself and about anything that surrounds you, and even the things that come. Like they like to say that the negative ones can come as angels of light. The things that are not good can look like the light even if they're not. Never underestimate the ability, the power of influence. And you can't always, sometimes you don't discern properly. Or sometimes you're not able to discern properly. No matter how righteous you might think, it's always better to ask and to seek guidance. Always. It doesn't matter how handsome that person may seem, how beautiful they may seem. It doesn't matter how many charities they work for or their support. It doesn't matter how many good works that they do. No matter how much light they seem to have on the inside, they could look like they have light on the outside. I meant the outside. No matter how much light they seem to have the outside, but the inside might be dark. They could be empty vessels on the inside that's just pretending to be something, and you're not able to see that because you're only looking at their actions. You're only looking in the physical. You're not tapped in with the spiritual and the other aspects. Ask for help. Ask for divine help and intervention and guidance and clarity about everyone and everything, including yourself, including the things that you think are the most innocent, especially those things that you see as innocent, because those are usually the things that are masked and easier to infiltrate in your life much easier because you don't see it coming. That person that seems like an angel, ask for divine guidance, revelation about that person. If they are who they really say they are. Be slow to act, be slow to speak when it comes to people until you get that clarity, that discernment. It's it's almost always or most of the times those that you least expect. That uncle, that auntie that seems like an angel to you, that friend, like I've said this before, it's usually those people that you think could never, or that thing that could never, or even there's something that is already in your life or is to come that will not at all seem like something negative, but it might be. But anyways, with everything, use discernment always. Peace, love, and light. And remember that you are always divinely guided, divinely protected, divinely provided for. And always ask for confirmation with all these messages in my channel or outside of this channel. Yeah, this discernment is up to you. I am just a vessel being used as a messenger. I'm not the one who knows the situation, and I am not the one who will tell you this is for you. That part is up to you. What you take away from this is up to you. And it's up to you to do your due diligence to ensure that you get clarity on this message, on these messages.